1 minute. The Editor-in-Chief is live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, with the Editor-in-Chief Live, it's August the 30th. You're with the Editor-in-Chief Live with Estes Oil, your multi-ingredient omega-3 healthy aging supplement backed by thousands of satisfied customers. Get the benefits of 6 supplements in one capsule to support joint, heart and brain health. Take as directed. Read the label. About Health Auckland, folks. Nice to have your company. I'm Duncan, Garner. Welcome to the program. And of course, get involved. Flick me your thoughts and your views. It's all on YouTube there. And it's the Cancer Society's Daffodil Day today, the fundraising drive that might just save your life. 1 in 3 of us will be affected by cancer in our lifetime, although some reports say it could be 1 in 2 of us. So we'll look at that this morning. Which is true? Is it 1 in 2 or 1 in 3? Has it hit your family hard? Do you give generously? And how hard is it to raise money in times like we're going through right now? Then Johnny Day is in to talk sports, and all eyes, of course, are in South Africa as Razor picks Ian Foster's golden boy to tie up the Springboks. That's Sam Cane. Sam Cane is back in the hot seat. Has Razor run out of ideas? It's news time. Here's MediaWorks Deputy News Editor. It is Grace Cocker. Very good morning.
The Māori King has died, aged 69. A statement on the Kingitanga Facebook page, it says that Kingi Tuheitia had been recovering in hospital from heart surgery. It comes just days after he celebrated the 18th anniversary of his coronation. His body will lie in state at Turanga Waiwai Marae for 5 days. Ramping up technology in court is expected to help people avoid re-traumatisation. More audio and video can be used, meaning some victims might not have to physically appear. Advocate Ruth Money says it's a win.
There is the financial cost to constant mental distraction and trauma. The easier that we can make their participation.
Advocates are pointing to Auckland's new alcohol policy as a nationwide blueprint. The council will officially roll out tougher rules in December, including shorter trading hours for off-licence. Health Coalition Aotearoa's Steve Randerson says alcohol is a problem.
$9.1 billion of harm occurs from alcohol annually. More than 800 deaths per year occur from alcohol-related causes.
Israel's agreed to a pause in the fighting to allow for polio vaccinations across Gaza. Described as a humanitarian break, they will each last 3 days in different areas. ABBA is the latest band to complain about Donald Trump's use of their music. 3 songs, including The Winner Takes It All, were played at one of his presidential campaign rallies. Celine Dion and the Foo Fighters have also recently fought back. To sport, Team New Zealand have damaged their boat at the America's Cup Challenger Series in Barcelona. They bet Luna Rossa before a crane malfunction, dropping the AC-75 heavily on the ground. Nicole Murray smashed her national record in qualifying for the women's C45 500 metres time trial at the Paralympics in Paris. The Kiwi cyclist went on to finish 5th in the final.
It's definitely not my best race, so yeah, just to make the final was pretty incredible.
And All Blacks coach Scott Robertson's named Sam Cane an open side flanker for Sunday's test in South Africa.
It's an opportunity for him to be that test veteran we need in the high belt.
It's Kane's first start since being sent off in the Rugby World Cup final. That's news and sport.
Oh no, Grace, the boat.
I know.
You don't drop Team New Zealand's boat. There's one thing you don't do. You drop it in the water.
I know. Smash on the concrete, big bang. They don't really know what the damage is yet. I think they're still trying to work it out from what I've sort of read
That's
and
really
understand.
Serious.
Yeah, I mean, they've got money. They can fix it. I don't think people, do people care that much about the racing unless we're in the final and it's, the red socks we bring out like we used to back in the day. I had the book and stuff. I think people find it a bit of an elitist sport.
Well, no,
I find it personally.
it's all that, but it's still Team New Zealand.
Not going to take away that they're great athletes and stuff, but I mean, it's in Barcelona. It's on the
I
other
should
side
be
of the
here.
world.
I know that. Yes,
I think there's a bitter taste.
Yeah, I know, but we don't wish it to. We don't wish the boat to drop in the
concrete.
No,
that's true. It does sound like a really bad situation.
7 metres. Hey, the police nailing the gangs. I reckon this has almost come as a directive from the government.
Yeah, took
with
out the
Comancheros.
Comancheros, yeah.
21.
And that's like an international bikie gang as well. That's not just a local gang that,
It's
like
a really
the Mob and
staunch-
Power. This is like a big international...
It's a show of power by
well-known
the
gang.
cops too, so I wonder if this will start to be a trend around the country as well. So
And taking out their drugs, seizing their assets. I think it's showing a show of force, which people have been wanting and calling for.
what
The
they
gang
want.
problem's been high.
that's right. Go the government, I suppose. Well, who's into the gangs?
Duncan Garner, live.
Right, so let's talk cancer. Let's talk Daffodil Day. And I really, really fear death, and I dread cancer. And I know I've got to get better at dealing with this. But both my mum and dad got cancer at the same time. Mum was touch and go, and thankfully she pulled through. Dad was given 9 months, and he lasted 9 months. I was under his hospice bed when he died, holding his hand. But Mum beat cancer, so she's still around. She's so tough that I think cancer's now scared of her. And she's not going anywhere anytime soon. And I've seen the services provided by the Cancer Society. They do a wonderful job, amazing volunteers. They do all sorts of work that you don't see. And they're also my charity for Celebrity Treasure Island as well. And so hopefully I can raise some money for you there. What does the story, though, tell us around Daffodil Day and cancer? Andrew Young is the Cancer Society Auckland Northland CEO. He joins us now. Andrew, g'day. Nice to see you.
G'day, Duncan. Good to be here.
Yeah, welcome. We'll just take your mic on there. We've got the mic on there? Yeah, we have now. I think we have. Yeah, we were right. Wow, cancer. Are we making progress?
We are. I'm surrounded by cancer researchers every day, and they are brilliant, brilliant people. The thing I love, Duncan, is we're the Cancer Society is the biggest private funder of cancer research. That's where we're going to get the solutions from, and they share their knowledge globally. So, no, I'm emboldened by the work done every day.
Because this is where it's at, isn't it? I was at a sort of a dinner, I think, a few years ago, and the cancer, the oncologist was sitting next to me, and he said, "What sort of cancer did your dad have?" And I told him. He goes, "Oh, yeah, we've made some progress there. He'd probably last 3 or 4 years now if he was, here." It was 9 months then. So I was really quite chuffed to hear that. It means that the money goes in. He's actually doing something.
Oh, yeah. We're all about doing something. I mean, 20 years ago when people got a cancer diagnosis, most people would die of cancer. These days, most people live. So it's a story about...
Is that right?
For most people.
Most people live.
Survivorship. Yeah, close to 70% live.
Wow.
So it's really turned around. And so it's about getting people to survive and thrive and be productive after their cancer
It's
diagnosis.
so encouraging to hear that, isn't it?
It's amazing. Yeah.
So it's impossible to say we have a cure for this, but if more people are surviving, then do you say it's a cure, or what do you say?
Well,
Because it's such a controversial term to say you've cured cancer, isn't it? So,
yeah. We cure is a very provocative word, but it's about prolonging life. It's about getting us through those dark times and then getting through the other end and not having cancer or the threat of cancer linger over you. So it's a mindset as well. It's body and mind around survivorship.
And how important is today for you guys? Because Daffodil Day, it's such an iconic thing now, Daffodil Day. Although it's not just about daffodils. You can give to the Cancer Society without buying a daffodil, without receiving one, can't you?
Yeah. Look, we fundraise every day of every year because we don't get any direct government funding. But Daffodil Day is pretty special. It's been going for 34 years, and it's the big day to mobilise, for Kiwis to mobilise and help us fight against cancer.
So what do you hope to raise today? Do you have figures in mind?
Yeah, it'd be good to raise $5.5 million today.
Right, so every Kiwi gives a dollar.
Yeah, basically. I mean, look, everyone knows someone with cancer. If we haven't had it ourselves or been through it ourselves, we know someone really close to us. And like you, I lost my parent to cancer, my mum. Yeah. And it's devastating. But, we can't weep into our Weet-Bix. We've got to stand up and do something about it. And I want to smack cancer in the face.
Yeah, I'll join you. I'll throw a couple as well. Because to me, and I keep a really close eye on this, and Mum does too, the progress that we're making, it's inch by inch, but over time it actually adds up to something quite significant, isn't it?
Oh, it's huge. And it's not, I've talked about cancer research, but every day, there are over 70 people diagnosed with cancer.
Is that what it is, 70 today?
Yeah,
so 70 people
something.
today.
Yep.
So that's 3 every hour.
Yeah. And over 25,000 in a year if you're going to do the nerdy stats.
Yeah, so in the duration of this program that's on here right now, this one, there'll be 1 or 2 people diagnosed with cancer. Because this has been up to an hour, so that's kind of revealing, isn't it? And it's someone's dad or mum or daughter or brother or whatever.
Yeah. And you could say, well, the health system will look after those people. The reality is the health system's under siege. It's under strain. It has been for all the time I've been alive. And we've got to make sure that we've got extra support for people going through cancer. That's why we exist.
The drugs that are coming on board, the different cancer drugs that are coming finally on board that were missed in the budget, but they came big, didn't they? They went big.
Yeah.
So it's a big. I followed it closely. It's the biggest drop of money I've seen into Pharmac in my time.
It's huge. And coming up shortly will be new chemo drugs that are infusions that literally prolong life. We were talking about that before around survivorship.
These are the ones the Australians have had for a while, though, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's wrong that across the Tasman they have all these things that we don't. 100 odd drugs they have that we don't. And we've accepted second best for too long.
Lots of things are really wrong, and the Cancer Society has been lobbying for decades. And but I want to congratulate the decision around getting more, because it's a step in the right direction. If we want to, be positive around good behaviour, this is a step in the right direction.
It is, but can we administer the drugs, you see, because there's all sorts of shortages of doctors, nurses and people that can do this sort of work, and so we need to make sure that they're not sitting in a fridge somewhere,
Yeah, currently we don't have the workforce, so this is a big issue. This is what occupies a lot of my time, talking with oncologists. Now that we've got the money for the drugs, how are we going to administer? How do we build that workforce? And a lot of this will be around community administration. So get the drugs out of the hospital, get them to marae, get them to community centres, get them to churches, get chemotherapy on mobile units like they do overseas.
Are we up for this though? Because as you say, the workforce isn't there, and that's the second or third time I've heard it in the last few weeks that the workforce isn't there. How quickly can you mobilise a workforce, and how quickly can you mobilise the drugs?
Yeah, look, it'll take months to mobilise, but we've got to prepare. People have got to learn how to administer these new drugs as well. Right. But we can mobilise really, really quickly. I've been in meetings with top oncologists for the last few months preparing for this.
Great.
So yeah, we can be ready.
This is, I think, you tell me, but this, I believe this is the most significant rollout of cancer drugs in our history.
I would say so. Absolutely. Yeah.
Bigger than Herceptin and that sort of rollout.
Yeah, and Herceptin was a game changer, and this is bigger than that with the rollout of the drugs.
See, people don't have time as well. There are a number of people who are sitting here looking at this now going, hey, I haven't got 6 months to wait. I need it now. How will you prioritise?
Well, that's for the health system to prioritise. Cancer Society is we're working alongside the health system, so that's a bigger call than me. But
it must be frustrating for you, though, because you sit and you have your volunteers and you have your system, and you guys do a wonderful job. I can't speak highly enough of you. And then you look at the health system, and as you say, it's always under stress. There's never a moment where you can say, oh, it's great, everything's going well. It will always be under stress because that's the nature of the health system. Yeah. But it must be disappointing at times to see it.
Oh, look, I frame it in a different way. I think... while I can't change it myself, I'm not the health minister, nor am I the prime minister, thank goodness. But I can every day talk to top oncologists and say, I've got the most amazing team of Cancer Society, really bright people. I've got an army of volunteers. How can you best use us? How can we best work together to get the services and the drugs out to the people?
Is it 1 in 3 who will be affected by cancer, or is it 1 in 2? I was at a cancer conference a few years ago where... someone was on stage from overseas that said it was going to be 1 in 2 by 2030. Do you remember that call?
Yep. No, I know the stats. Currently 1 in 3 in New Zealand will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime within the next 20 years. So maybe by 2030, but probably by 2040, it'll be 1 in 2.
Is that affected by cancer or will get cancer?
Will be diagnosed with cancer.
So one of us?
Yeah.
I mean, it's to me, I'm frightened by that.
Yeah, look, the truth is we're all going to die of something, Duncan. Yeah. And if you turn it around and look at the survivorship, most people are surviving with cancer. So it's learning to live with the cancer, not be scared of it. No, learn to live with it.
I know, but it's like, you remember when AIDS was around, and AIDS has largely been cured now, right? Because they found the right medication.
Yeah.
But that was in the 80s. There was Jaws, the movie, and there was AIDS, and these things sat on top of us, and we feared them, right? And cancer to me is that third thing that's just bounced along and been in our lives, and been horrific in our lives.
Yeah.
And I just think that somehow, we hope to be able to change. When you hear the word cancer, it's okay.
Yeah.
We can survive. And you're telling me that that's where we're heading.
We are heading that way. So, look, some people won't survive. What I'm saying is most people will survive. And with these drugs that are coming on tap, all the time, it is quality of life, it's prolonging life, and that's I think what we're going to aim for.
I think, and we'll tell people how they can donate and everything shortly, but I think it's amazing what these researchers and doctors are doing, that they keep, every time they come up with this wonder drug, a year later there's another wonder drug. And where are they? How does that happen? This research it's above my head. It's phenomenal, though, isn't it?
Yeah. It is what I'm talking about, that global collaboration. You can't work in silos, and here at the bottom of the world I do work amongst our Cancer Society lab here in Auckland has been evaluated globally. We're punching above our weight. We've got the All Blacks of cancer researchers here in Aotearoa.
Wow, it's great.
However, it's a tiny lab compared to the big labs overseas. So while we're punching above our weight, without sharing that knowledge and receiving knowledge from overseas, they're not going to make progress.
And what are they saying about our rates of cancer? Because if it's 1 in 3 now, it's going to be 1 in 2 shortly. That means more of us are going to get cancer. Why? Is it there's something in the water, in the air, in the food? What are we doing? What are we doing wrong?
I think on the positive side, there's better detection these days. So a lot of people would live and then they die of cancer, but no one would have known. So with great screening now, we're pushing screening all the time, and there's screening for so many things.
And that's the answer, isn't it?
That is the answer. You have to be on top of your health. And look, this year I had my PSA levels for prostate cancer went through the roof. I went through a cancer scare, had a biopsy, which wasn't terribly pleasant, if I'm to be honest. Yeah. But we're talking honestly here. But I was clear of cancer. But for those few weeks, I had that niggling thought, do I have cancer? Now, blokes
what went through your mind? What went through your mind?
Oh, look, I've got to do everything I can before I die to smash cancer in the face.
Yeah.
So,
But if most blokes went and got the screening test for a prostate, you'd find a lot of them are very high in the PSA levels, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's right. The way it is, isn't it?
Yeah. So my message is blokes just have to be, everyone has to be tested, but screening is really, really important.
Yeah, so we're bad at it. Oh, we'll be right, mate.
Yeah,
we
are
blokes,
bad. Yeah. Get better at it, guys.
Yeah, that is the answer. Hey, how do people donate? How can people give to you guys so generously today?
Big thing is we've got thousands of volunteers on the streets. Don't walk past them. Don't ignore them. Please dig deep. Everyone's got, we're digitised now. They've got EFTPOS machines. You can't do the poor man shuffle and go, sorry, I've got no coins or notes. Yes. Look, we're more interested in the notes, but if you've got the plastic, whip it out and tap and go.
I see that on your website too. You've got you don't have to buy a daffodil. You can just go in there, donate $100, $30, $50, or whatever. The options are all there. So
so the big thing also online is daffodilday.org.nz.
Right,
that's our big thing on the website.
Well, all the best, and I hope you do well. And it's really nice to meet you and talk to you and catch up.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, all the very best. Take care.
You.
Okay.
Duncan Garner, live.
Yeah, okay, 0800 863 293. Duncan, is it profitable to sell a cure, says Tooks? Somebody's bottom line may be affected, just saying. I'm happy they funded cancer, says Dave. They funded the cancer drugs, but they paid for it by taking the money from the next budget, proving they didn't intend to fund them. This was serious ass-kissing from Mr. Luxon. He had to do it, Dave. He missed out during that budget round. They simply forgot, so he had to come back and make up. And he did make up. Duncan, we've already got robust laws around gangs. Now we have the clothes police. Who's against the gangs? Who's against the police going in and busting the gangs? Was there anyone disappointed yesterday when the police went in there and raided 21 commentaries? Was anyone crying about this? Isn't this what you wanted? Isn't this what the public demanded that the police do? And Dave said, I agree with you, Dave. Funny how they busted the gang without the new laws that National keeps calling for. Maybe you don't need the laws. You never did need the laws. You have the law on your side. But the laws are already calling foul on this. Yeah, the new police powers are great until they are misused by the police. And were they misused yesterday? There'll be lawyers debating this, I'd say, for some time. 0800 863 293 is the number. Right, let's do some 3 questions today. And at number 1, who is our best open-side flanker in New Zealand today? It's Sam Cane, isn't it? There's no doubt about it, Sam Cane. Maligned and criticised, bloodied and bruised. This guy takes some stopping. Razor has picked him for this colossal clash against South Africa because he's tough and no one right now is tougher than him and better than him. Many won't agree with me, and that is your right, but if you disagree with me, then tell me you know nothing about rugby. Kane's good. He's our best number 7 available. 97 tests means that you are one of our best ever. doesn't it? I would have thought so.
2.
And number 2 today, this is interesting. The Blockhouse Bay alleged killer is in custody, and well done to the cops for a quick arrest here. Locals were freaking out, and rightly so, because guess what happened? He was living amongst them. He lived on the street that takes you down to the park where he allegedly killed this scientist. It's like he was watching the investigation unfold until there was a knock on the door. Oi, you're coming with us. Good on the cops. Good work.
3.
Number 3 today, are we about to see house prices go through the roof again with interest rates coming down? Does the logic follow? Well, Tony Alexander has crunched the numbers and seems to think it will be a subdued bounce of about 10 to 15%, and nothing like the 31% we saw in 2021. 31% in 2021. No wonder home ownership was struggling. Good morning to you.
Duncan Garner, live.
31% increase in house prices in 1 year. That's what we got 3 years ago. Johnny Day is with us and joins us now. Johnny, g'day, mate.
G'day, mate.
Nice to see you. We better check the mic on. Number 2, mic, please. Thank you.
There we go. You beauty. Good morning, Duncan.
It sounds much better when your mic's on.
Yeah, a lot better. Team New Zealand dropped their boat.
Why are we laughing?
Because they spend all these millions of dollars in this huge event and then lifting their boat with a crane out of the water and they drop it. It's pretty funny.
It's unprofessional and poor, isn't it?
Yeah, well, absolutely.
How did that happen?
The guys on the water are doing the job. They beat Luna Rossa overnight. They won the prelim regatta. So on the water, great.
Yeah.
But lifting it in a crane, it drops and lands on the cradle, and now they can't race overnight.
Because the thing is, these things are light. These things are so specifically built that they're not made to drop.
Yeah, hell no.
They're not made to drop. They struggle to go over waves, So what do you do? That's why they sit above the water. What do you do now? How do you fix it?
Mate, they'll have head in their hands. Luckily, they've got enough people over there getting paid enough dollars to fix it pretty quickly. But the America's Cup doesn't start for a month, so they're lucky they're in this Challenger Series anyway.
Yeah.
Like, what are they even doing there? They're learning so much about the opposition, but I guess they're learning a lot about Team New Zealand.
Do you think we're keeping our powder dry, though? Do you think we're holding back?
I don't know, Duncan. It's all subterfuge, isn't it? It's not like rugby where you actually get out there and show your best, and at the end of 80 minutes,
No, I still can't get over the fact that we're over there doing it.
Barcelona.
I know
in the
I
middle
go
of
on
the
about
night.
this, but I'm really fucked off about it.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Absolutely.
A lot of New Zealanders aren't even watching, and I kind of pulled the pin on the America's Cup years ago.
Is it Team New Zealand or is it Team
They're
Dalton?
not Team New Zealand. There's no trials or anything like that, isn't it? Like, for the best sailors in New Zealand jump on the boat, it's just all about the dollars, and they've dropped their boat with a crane, and I think that's funny.
It's Team New Zealand because it was Team New Zealand to get taxpayers' money.
Emirates Team New Zealand with the
to
taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But now it's just Team Dalton.
Yeah.
Lining someone else's pockets.
Hey, looking forward to Sunday morning, 3 o'clock. What a great way to start Father's Day.
I agree. Sam Cane.
Yeah, great selection. We talked about it on Monday, and Razor's done it.
We knew he'd do it, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're playing the Springboks at Alice Park, you need Sam Cane and those massive shoulders. You
need a traditional 7 to go there smashing people.
Exactly. Yeah, and they've got Ethan Blackadder at 6, and then Samipeni Finau to come off the bench, and he knows how to smash people too.
Yeah, although he hasn't been seen for a number of weeks, has he?
No, it's been interesting. They've gone with Wallace Satiti, the youngster, for a few tests, but this is a sign that says defence will win this game.
Yeah, well, that's right. So South Africa knows that too, and they've got a team. Well, they've got a team that can attack and defend.
Yeah, it's weird with Tony Brown there now. I don't know. I think you've got to get your set piece right. That's the first thing you've got to do. Our scrum is great and has been for a couple of years under Jason Ryan.
Hasn't it?
If we can put them under pressure, get some scrum penalties, kick the corners, and get some line-out mauls going, could be good. And then
that's what I told the under-14s to do this year. They ignored me.
And how did they go?
7th.
There we go.
That's the thing. Whack the ball into the corners when you line out. And I like the look of Blackadder. I think he's coming to his own.
Yeah, absolutely. Once he's fully fit.
Niggly, scruffy, tough.
Huge engine. But I love the coaching showdown here. We've got Rassie Erasmus, the wily old box coach with his lights and and his 7 forwards on the bench and, calling Razor the best coach in the world during the week. And then you got Razor Robertson, the breakdancing madman from Crusaders land who's new to this international rugby gig, and they're going to go head-to-head in the cauldron on Sunday morning.
And are we a bit light up front?
Ethan de Groot would be nice to have him.
Yeah, but we've still got bloody Tamaiti.
Tamaiti is huge, and then Offa Tuangafasi on the bench. So we're always smaller than the Springboks. There's no doubt about that. And whether we can tire them out at altitude remains to be seen. But I love our strike power out wide. I love the Caleb Clark's having a great season.
Isn't he? He's fit and he's into it, right?
Will Jordan, 33 tries in 33 games, and Beauden Barrett just refuses to let time catch up with him. He's just playing as well as he ever has. So our back three's going good. If we can get over the advantage line, win our set piece, and somehow tire out the Springboks, we can win, but we are the underdogs, aren't
We are. I like Kane there because Kane, as you say, he provides that traditional 97 test matches. They'll get him to 100.
I hope so. He
So do
deserves
I.
that. He's an
Yeah.
absolute great.
What do
of
we
the
say to
game.
these people who criticise him and say he's shit? Because he's not. And
No.
if you say he's shit, then you don't know rugby.
And exactly, I don't know what they want more from a number 7. I think maybe we came through the era of obviously Michael Jones to Josh Cromfeld to Richie McCaw. 3 of just an insanely good number
Sublime.
7s who were great at pilfering the ball. So we always think number 7 should be at the ruck, stealing ball, creating turnovers. But that's not Sam Cane's job these days in modern rugby. That's everybody's job to get over the ball.
Correct, yeah.
And to jackal and to steal it. So Sam Cane's job is to snot people and make sure they can't sleep at night because they've got sore ribs.
But he does snot them too, doesn't
And
he?
he does. And that's all we want from him. And he'll do it again. And those people who don't watch rugby will go, oh, where was he? A bit like Ruben Thorne.
Yes.
Where was he?
Oh, he's better than Thorne, isn't he?
Yeah.
How dare you say that?
Well, Ruben Thorne was good, though.
Yeah, okay.
Underrated.
What else you got?
I've got the Warriors, last game of the season
they're still
tomorrow. If you
around.
like Sean Johnson playing rugby league, the last chance ever to see him play is tomorrow, taking on his old team, the Sharks, in Cronulla. So a nice way for him to put a little bow tie on his rugby league career. So good on you, Sean Johnson. Absolute legend. Paralympics, we had...
Can I stop you there for a second?
Yeah.
What a disappointment from the Warriors this year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all that promise, and they've lost 14 games.
Yeah, man.
And they're nowhere near it.
No.
They could win the next 2 games and they still wouldn't get in.
No.
And there's not 2 games to go, I know, but I mean, we don't give them enough scrutiny. They've lost again. This is 30 years running.
Yeah. It's not their year this year. Again.
What about next year?
Nah.
See-
I thought this year was actually going to be the year. I'm a Manly supporter, so I don't have any skin in the game. And at the start of the season, I bought in. I was like, actually, this is the Warriors' year.
They had
they're
that
ever going to do it.
5-game streak where they lost. They just looked, well, see, what was wrong with them? Where's their mental state? Why can't they do it?
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of players who were great last year weren't good this year. I think they need some new wingers. I think they've done their dash. Old Dallin in the mullet was sensational last year, but didn't quite
Struggled this year.
do it this year. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck should be at fullback. I know we've been over this, and Chance Nickel-Cockstar will be at centre tomorrow, but Andrew Webster keeps on telling us that's not the long-term plan. It's RTS in the centres.
No, you need him
and
at
then
fullback.
Tohu Harris, we needed him to be fit. He wasn't. Mitch Barnett was great. He's about the only standout. Wade Egan had a terrible season after starting great, being told by everyone he's going to be the New South Wales hooker. Never happened. So a lot of guys will be looking themselves in the mirror going, man, I wasn't good this year.
I don't know if they know how to win. I think there's a mental block there now. I don't know what it is. They need someone like Graham Lowe to go in there and talk to them and try and work it out. There'll be lots of hangers on in there, but how do you win? Maybe they have a block now of winning. There's a mental block. They can't do it.
Yeah, well, you'd think Andrew Webster coming from the Panthers would know how to win.
Well, he's frustrated.
And last year he looked like, and he finally had a crack at the referees, which is
About
a lot
time.
of supporters are saying, about time. So, NRL coming to an end. This is the second to last round. And the Warriors have a bye in the last round. So that's it.
It sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I still get a full crowd for that too.
Yeah.
Who will win it?
Oh, that's a great question because the Storm are already resting their players. They rested 10 players last night and they lost to the Cowboys. Panthers, you can never count them out, although they do have the wobbly boot at the moment. The Roosters are looking good as much as
they
I
look
hate
all right.
them.
Yeah.
Jared Waerea-Hargreaves has always managed to get suspended.
He's a meathead, isn't he? Yeah.
Absolute meathead, so he won't be there, but they've got class all over the paddock. So I'd say between those 3 teams, Cronulla, I don't really believe in them, and the Doggies, probably an outside chance. They've had a great year, but I don't think they'll win. So
where does
Storm,
Cronulla go?
Roosters,
Where does Cronulla go? What happens to them?
they're top 4. They're looking
Yeah,
good.
they look good.
And Craig Fitzgibbon's a great coach and behind them as well. But
Johnny Day for the Sporting Rumble. I appreciate your time, mate.
All right, mate.
You're the man. You're the man. Duncan says, Bradox, you reported. I want to spend some time on this because this is interesting. And Forrester, if you want to talk about some feedback, we can do that. Duncan, you reported on my father-in-law in your early days. His name was Jack Coley. He had cancer and he had to move to Australia to survive as it was cheaper. Just wondering if you remember him. You were very young. Bradox, I totally remember Jack. And I remember his young daughter. And I remember we pushed to get him drugs so he could watch and see his daughter go from age 4 to 5. He lived in Palmerston North, so he would see her go to school. And we were able to find the funding and we were able to get him the drugs. And I went to his funeral and I sat at the back. And I still remember the song that they sung there for him. I often think about Jack. He didn't want to die. He was far too young. And his daughter was young and he wanted to survive and see her. And he wasn't able to. So I just want you to know that I often think about him and I remember it wholeheartedly, and he was a good guy. He was a fighter. So, yeah, I just wanted to give you that message.
Duncan Garner, live.
Yeah, okay, Artie Savier's our best 7, says Tux. He's playing 8, though, mate. He's playing 8. Any other feedback there interests you, Forrester?
Well, firstly, just that Daffodil Day stuff. 30 years, pretty awesome to see that.
Yeah, yep.
So I thought that was pretty good. Lots of support coming through on the TikTok comments as well for our previous guests.
What about this one?
Awesome.
David, how do you forget your promise to fund cancer drugs? What a piss-poor excuse. It is true, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, no wonder they came back with a vengeance with a big check. It shows that it's all about priorities. Being in government's all about priorities.
Well, and as he said, this is basically the largest thing that's happened in New Zealand for cancer drugs so far. So, if he's looking at it in a positive light, and I think that's pretty awesome.
Do you know what I really enjoyed chatting to Andrew? I reckon that, and there's such a big development to hear that 70% of people with cancer now survive, and they are, survivable and survivors.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Positive number, isn't it?
That would have been unheard of. Well, like he said, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
unheard of.
I would never forget seeing my dad in hospital years and years when he was 40. I was much younger, and the guy next to him died of cancer. I'll never forget. His name was John Long, and I'll never forget it. I just from that, when you're a kid and you see moments like that, you don't forget the image.
Yeah.
And ever since that day, I was feared cancer. And then it took my dad, and then almost took mum. So
that's why I think the stuff that the Daffodil Foundation is doing is so fantastic. My grandfather got diagnosed with cancer 2015, so 9-10 years ago-ish.
Yep.
And he was based in Nelson. He moved down to Christchurch for treatment, and he lived in the Daffodil house, the Daffodil kind of lodge that was in Christchurch. Really nice, really nice place. Like, they obviously had him set up, him and his wife, my grandma, and it was great for him. And then, he was down in Christchurch for a couple of months, and then got treated, and now he's alive and kicking.
He's still alive?
Yep, he's fantastic. It was very very early. It was seen very early. They found it very early, which is good.
But he was still a bit older, though. He was still alive.
Yeah, he would have been in his early 70s.
Shivers,
at the time.
He survived.
Yep.
This is great news. So
fantastic.
They're doing things, right? They're doing
things.
I
think that's the main thing, right? Is you give to a charity and the money goes away and you never see it again.
Yeah.
But to actually hear that it's going to something that is genuinely changing people's lives is pretty damn awesome.
And actually, I was just talking to Andrew, outside. So that Daffodil house that my granddad stayed at, it got damaged in kind of like post-earthquakes. It was damaged, and they finally had to get rid of it, unfortunately.
Oh.
But he was just saying that the new one has now opened up, and apparently it is amazing.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
God, you guys are good at your jobs.
I got some more comments for you as well.
Oh, okay,
on the TikTok.
Yeah, go.
Police misuse their powers daily by coercing people to relinquish their common rights law, and people saying police operate under the colour of law each time they unlawfully stop people for not committing a crime.
I was stopped the other day.
Right.
Oh, really?
And just on dusk.
What'd you do?
I was on my my motorbike.
Yep.
Which looks like a Harley, but it's an electric one, right? So just it's a low rider, and these two cops right at my back side pulled me over for no reason. But it was just I looked like a bikie, right? And they took my helmet off, and they said, "Hey, thanks for going to bat for us." I said, "What did you stop me for?" And they said, "Oh, I just wanted to check out the bike. You haven't seen it before, so I want to check it out." I thought, bullshit. You wanted to see if I was dodgy. And then you realise it was me, and, in fact, the indicators weren't working, but they missed that anyway.
Oh, well.
But they thanked us for going to bat for their pay rises.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. Okay, did you have anything else, Forrester?
No, those are the main ones coming through there. Lots of support for the Cancer Society.
Yeah. I remember Jack Coley. I mean, I was working for the Homes program back then. Do you remember that program? You've heard of the Homes program, you two?
Barely.
Exactly.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was a good program.
It's the Slam Dunk.
Okay, so with interest rates on their way down, it's natural to ask, are we about to see a house price boom again? And I would have thought that the Reserve Bank will want to keep a tight fist on that and limit growth, so it doesn't take off like it did in 2021. Prices went up, how's this, 31% in 1 year. That's a debacle. That's because people feared missing out, so they're racing around buying houses. But more and more people miss out on entering the housing market in New Zealand as home ownership rates have significantly dropped from the mid-70% range to now to close to 60%. Of all Kiwis now own their own homes, so 40% don't. It's dropping fast, and that's because people are priced out. New Zealand is now a fascinating insight into the haves and have-nots, right? The haves have shitloads. Several properties like the PM, worth $20 million worth of houses. He's got farm, house, and the misguided wedge that he took in Wellington for that housing allowance on the apartment he owned and still took the money. Wages just don't keep up. Houses cost 10 times what they earn. In my parents' day, it was 3 times. Now it's 10 times your salary. So despite all the talk and the reports and the recommendations to do something, it's only come down in recent years because the economy has softened. Watch it bounce again now. It'll go back up. New Zealand has so many barriers to entry. You can build in Australia at twice the speed and half the cost. How's that? Let me say it again. You can build in Australia at twice the speed and half the cost. It's staggering, isn't it? So bad. How do we allow this to stand in New Zealand? Well, we just do. The price of land and building is just sky high in New Zealand. We've allowed land banking, so development is rolled out when the developer wishes, and that keeps the prices high. Arsehole. And some families will never, ever own their own homes, despite how hard they work. It's just their reality. They just won't do it. This is a real cause for concern, and how hard do you have to work and still not have an ownership stake in New Zealand? Check out these numbers. This will rock you. Pacifica people in New Zealand. At what percentage do they own their own homes? 20% of Pacific people in New Zealand own a home. 80% do not. They retire and they do not have a freehold house. They must continue to rent in retirement. For Māori, the ownership rate's 35% who own their own homes. 65% of Māori do not own their own homes. So you are a tenant in your own country. And the trend is getting worse and widening. Who wants to live in a country where all the white people have homes and all the brown people are renting? Is that a recipe for social happiness and cohesion, or is it a recipe for a ticking time bomb? What will be done about this? The answer is Jack. The status quo, it always seems to remain, doesn't it? And get worse.
Duncan Garner, live.
Yeah. Did you think the home ownership rates were that low for Pacific people in New Zealand? 20%.
Yeah, shockingly low number.
It's low
number.
Isn't it?
I feel like I sadly am not surprised. Not that that's a good thing, but yeah, that's...
Because New Zealand superannuation is designed so you own your own home. So then you get that money to live on.
Yep.
But if you're paying rent in your 80s and 70s, you're not eating.
No, not at all.
So we need to think. We need to think about how we deal with this. I might do plonker next week, Forrester.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I might upgrade.
Yeah, no one's really jumped out at me as no one's really been a plonker this week, have they?
Not that I can recall off the top of my head just very quickly. Oh, well, there's always someone in government, isn't there?
Yeah.
But
this week, New Zealand Parliament.
Yeah.
In general.
What about the Comancheros though, getting cleaned out?
Yeah.
I mean, this is what the public demanded during the election campaign, and this is what they've done. The government's instructed the cops just to harden up. So Costa could have done this in any other stage.
So they did a raid, right?
They did a raid, right? They arrested every one of the Comanchero gang members in Christchurch.
Isaac and I saw a raid outside our work, you know.
We did.
We think it was a raid. It was either that or very extensive training. But they had about 5 or 6 cars, all these people with full-on balaclavas on, and
that's been on the building yesterday.
No, this was like
this was last week.
Yeah, last week.
Hey, you know what we haven't mentioned today?
What?
The Māori Kings died.
Yes, true. Yeah.
69 years of age, hasn't been well for some time, and I went to the funeral, the tangi, of the Māori Queen years and years ago in Waikato. And it truly is, if you want to be a rubbernecker and go and see something amazing, go to this ceremony. It is, the streets are full, there's pomp and ceremony, and they take them up to the top of the hill. It is amazing. Wow. And there'll be a huge amount of people turn out because you have to appoint another king as well.
Yeah, true.
It's quite ceremonial.
Wow. That's at Taupiri, right?
Yeah, Taupiri, yep, the mountain there. So our sympathies to the family of King Tūheitia as well. That is us. Thanks for tuning in to Duncan Garner, Editor-in-Chief, live with Estes Oil, the premium New Zealand-made fish oil supplement backed by a really good study. Support joint, heart and brain health. Use the code Duncan for 10% off. Abouthealth.co.nz. Take as directed. Read the label. It's good. About Health Auckland 0800 999 309 will get you the goods. So you just ring up right now. There's someone there. There's always people there. They always have good people on. They know their stuff. And just mention my name and you'll get 10% off immediately. And they'll look after the old joint. Dust the joints, the heart and everything. Bit of oil, you're away. That's us. This will be available as a podcast on Rover shortly and wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for your feedback and your support. I'm Duncan at rover.nz. If you want to get hold of me, please do. To my team, Isaac, Forrester, Zarina, thank you guys. We'll do it all again on Monday. And remember, life is no dress rehearsal, no curtain raiser. This is it. We're living in it, so let's go and enjoy it and get out there and have some fun. And go the ABs and the what. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
That was Duncan Garner, Editor-in-Chief Live. Missed something on the live stream? Text Duncan to 3598 to listen back on the podcast. Want to get in touch? Call 0800 863 293.